Hello and welcome back to another exciting, riveting, spellbinding. See, I've been working on my word.
Ooh, adjective.
Spellbinding episode of Coffee and Cuddles. That's it. I did a total mind blank right there.
Oh my gosh, you forgot the show
I forgot the
already.
name of the show.
Oh, that's not good.
As you can tell by the counting, we're at episode 12. That's at least a dozen.
Yeah, cheaper by the dozen.
Cheaper. Oh, I like that. We should use
Yeah,
that.
we should.
Then we use that as a title.
All right.
As always, I am Craig, aka Coffee, and by my side, as per usual, is
Cuddles, aka Anna Marie. So,
Guard.
and that crunching sound you heard came from our little wonder pup, McCoy,
Our tech dog.
our tech dog. So, have him back and join us, why don't you?
I think I will.
All right.
What is this coffee you're talking about? I've never experienced it before.
Oh, please. It's sitting right there.
Oh, that's what that is. I thought that was a magical elixir.
No, that's coffee. I know, because I almost drank an entire venti the other day.
That's like dangerous for you. You should not be doing
That
it.
is dangerous for me. I needed it.
That's like more caffeine than you get in a month.
That's way more caffeine than I've been drinking lately. Oh my. So
how was your week?
it was interesting. I think I definitely need to set some boundaries, not necessarily with you, but I need to set some boundaries with people. I think maybe build a few walls, as it were, put up a border.
So Borders is not just for the edge of your country anymore?
No, but Borders was a great bookstore, wasn't it?
It was. I think I went to Borders once. I've been to Borders. I've been to Books a Million, which is kind of like a discount kind of place. I've been to a few bookstores. I prefer like the standalone brick building has a cool cat hanging out in it, that kind of bookstore, as opposed to corporate.
I gotcha. So how's your week been?
It's been really good. For those of you that don't know, Anna and I recently opened our own virtual dispensary through a company called Canaglobe. Now, what that is, if you're wondering, instead of going down the street to the corner dispensary and getting your edibles and your gummies and your whatnots.
In your CBD only products?
Yes, exactly. Hemp stuff. Now we have it so that you can order online and have it shipped discreetly to your door, or any door for that matter, anywhere in the US and 26 countries.
26.
26. I don't know what they are at the top of my head. I know the UK is one.
I know Australia isn't one.
Australia is not one. And I talked to someone today. I didn't ask her what country, but her country is not available either. So what we do, as I said, is we sell CBD products. Now, I know some people will look at it and say, oh, you're selling drugs. No, we're not selling drugs.
No, not at all.
These are all 100% perfectly legal according to the Farm Bill. I don't know what the Farm Bill has to do with anything.
But they are perfectly legal. They can be shipped, like we said, within the 50 states and 26 countries. These are not drugs. I feel like I need to say that again because they're not. They aren't.
It's not like the burnout in high school, smoking pot all the time or anything like that. And we do have smokables. They're pre-rolled. I don't know anything about them. I'm not interested in them. So I don't know what that is, but apparently they're very good according to people who use them. So if that's your thing, I will put our link in the show notes and please go check it out. And if you decide that perhaps you would like to be your own virtual dispensary owner, then absolutely connect with us and we'll get you set up.
Okay, so that was our PSA, our infomercial, if you will.
Just said $99.95 by midnight tonight. Oh wait,
no, don't tell them that.
$29.99.
I feel like I need to take my Carter Earl shot. Okay, as I was saying, that was our infomercial, our PSA, as you will. So I think tonight what we're going to talk about, like I said, is walls. Boundaries, I suppose you could call it, borders if you want to go that way. Now, this can be with your significant other, with your spouse. It can be with people that you know, but I don't think all walls are bad, but there come those moments where there are some times that you need to put them up. I don't know if you want to start first or if you want me to start.
I think it's absolutely acceptable to set your own boundaries. And normally the people that have an issue with it, it's not because of you, it's their own issue where they don't like being denied access to all of you all the time. And I don't think that's a healthy way to live, where you just free and open to everyone all the time. You never shut anybody out. You never keep things to yourself. But boundaries, I think, are healthy. My therapist agrees that I should have boundaries in my life, and I'm working on that because for a long time I did not have that, and people would be in my business all the time, and I don't like that. I don't recommend it. Definitely 1 out of 1 do not recommend.
Now, as for me, I do have, well, let's see. Let me go back a little. I did put up some pretty thick walls. I mean, I had really closed myself off from people simply because of how people were treating me, how some previous relationships went, and I just didn't want to get hurt anymore. So I sort of made it hard for people to get to me. So I tried breaking down some of those walls because it was me who wanted to break them down to let people in. And lately I've been feeling like I may need to start putting them back up again. Maybe not as thick as before, but I think I need to start rebuilding.
I think I don't say this in a negative way, but I noticed that you don't have a lot of boundaries when it comes to school. You're better than you were when I got here, where it felt like it was all school all the time. There was no, it's 5 o'clock, I'm home. I don't have to worry about school anymore. Now you are, like I said, you are better about it. And I know for me, working from home as I do, it's kind of hard to separate because I don't have an office per se. I have an area where the computer is, but I am very terrible about setting boundaries myself where I can sit here all day, recruiting people and talking to people and hawking the products and everything. And then I come back to the same computer later at night. And it's very tempting and very easy to fall into that. Oh, while I'm here, I'm just going to zip off this message, or I'm going to respond to this DM, or send. I'm just going to send a quick email, and then I'll be done. I think there absolutely has to be work boundaries as well.
So are we talking about walls or boundaries or both? Now I'm confused.
I kind of the same thing.
Okay.
I think in my estimation, excuse me, they're kind of the same thing.
Oh, okay. I was just getting a little confused there for a second. But like he was saying, when he was first getting to know me, I was pretty much, I didn't turn work off necessarily. And then when I found myself having to work from home, then I really couldn't turn it off because my my office, as it were, was in the same great room as my rec area was. So I'd look over and there would be work, and it was very easy to walk over and deal with work again. Or I'd be on the phone going, oh my gosh, I got to get back on the computer and set it for tomorrow or whatever it was. So I'm trying to be better about it. I'm trying to, you know, distinguish when, teacher life needs to take a break and my life needs to come into play a little, because burnout is something that I know has been happening to a lot of teachers. And I'm trying very hard not to have that happen to me. So if I don't put up those, what was the word you said, boundaries, then I could very easily fall into burnout, and I'm trying to avoid that.
Yeah, burnout is it's never a good thing, it's never a good position to be in either. So absolutely, figure out what your boundaries are, or where you want to place your walls. It's like it's not really like Jenga. I can't think of it. Maybe not Tetris. No, that's not right either. There's an analogy out there for it, for what I'm thinking of, but it's kind of like Think of it like a Lego set where you can build it however you want it to be and however you want it to look like, and that's perfectly okay. And anyone that tells you that it's not, then the issue is with them.
And when you decide that you want to redesign it, then, it's up to you to make the changes that you want.
Get a 10-pound sledgehammer and just whack
No,
away.
if you're using Legos, you better not get a 10-pound sledgehammer. Have you seen the sign of Legos?
It would come down real easily.
And you'd also destroy the Legos. You know how expensive those things are.
Fine, all right.
Yikes.
Picky.
Just take them apart with your fingers.
Fine, I'll take them apart with my fingers.
All right.
It's much fun, though.
I'm going to have to watch Amazon delivery drivers now. I just know a 10-pound sledgehammer is going to come out. It's going to show up with a big box of Legos.
Uh-huh.
Oh, no. Would you close that Amazon window? What are you? Stop it. As he's trying to explore Amazon right then.
I would never once.
Uh-huh.
Many times, never once.
Right now he's thinking I should have put up a wall so she couldn't see what I was doing.
I could be like Les Nessman. This is the wall. These are the walls of my office.
Yeah, you could.
For those of you that are not of a certain age, Les Nessman was a news anchor on the fictitious WKRP
in Cincinnati.
He did not warrant his own office, so he put tape on the floor, and those were his walls.
So, walls, boundaries, like Coffee over here was saying, they can be a healthy thing and they can be necessary. Recently I was on social media, and I'm not going to specify which one, but just I was on social media, and someone I know had put something up, and to me it seemed relevant, and I thought, oh well, this person wouldn't put something up unless they found truth in it or found it to be a wise thing to do. So I in turn also put it up, only to have someone make a
snide.
I don't know if I want to call it snide, but it was not a positive message. And the message that was used basically made me feel like I was stupid. Now, I don't know if the person intended to make me feel stupid, but it happened. That's exactly how I felt. And then someone else that I know that is in my more closer circle, I guess, mentioned something, not in a way that I felt hurt, but just after 2 comments, I decided, you know what? Here's my boundary. I don't need that negativity coming at me. So you know what? I don't need to hear it. And let me just, get this part off of social media. Now, it's my social media, and as long as I'm not violating FCC regulations or, free speech, I should be able to post what I want. But, when people start coming at you negatively, it makes you feel like, geez, maybe I just shouldn't use social media at all. But this was my choice, and me saying, you know what, I don't need to hear it, and I'm not going to let other people see it. So it's out of there.
It's very easy to feel that way, where all this negative energy is coming towards you, and you throw your hands up and you say, screw this. I don't want to play anymore. I'm taking my ball and I'm going home.
Exactly.
Absolutely. It's your social media. It's your whatever you want to call it. And you should absolutely have 100% control over the content you portray. And people are going to come at you with, maybe it's good intentions, maybe it's not. You never really know. And it's hard to tell when it's not face to face. Even phone conversations can be hard because you can't always necessarily see the person, and you can always tell from the inflection in their voice. Are they joking with me? Are they being serious? And apparently for the millennials out there, using three dots at the end of a sentence is triggering, and it's an attack on them. I don't understand that. I didn't know that we had assault ellipses, but apparently we do. And that's just another thing that It's your choice if you want to use it or not.
Right. So, setting up, walls or boundaries or borders, whatever terminology you want to use, that, it's what's going to make you feel safe in your safe space. It's what's going to make you feel comfortable and happy and valued and all of that. I worked with someone who, whenever if this person woke up in a not so positive light, I seemed to be the first person they sought out. And
Lucky you.
whatever negative vibes they were feeling, they just kind of let it out in front of me. They vented, let's say. And I don't have a problem with my family or friends when they need to vent. I want them to do that. I want them to feel like they can come to me, but imagine, if you will, that this is happening to you on a daily basis. You can almost set your clock to it. It's never, your first interaction with the person. It's never positive. It's always, oh, and then, nah. That's sort of going to set the mood, or that could actually really ruin your day. And at one point, I kind of noticed that I was starting off, kind of grouchy and irritable. And then people coming in were kind of getting, the raw end of the stick, if you will. So I finally had to let this person know, I don't mind you venting to me, but it's happening too much. It's too much negativity. I can't absorb it anymore. And, if I'm the only person that you can come to with whatever is bugging you when you first wake up, that's a problem. I can't handle it anymore. Please, I just can't take you coming at me with so much negativity. And I felt bad at first that I was doing it. And then I thought, wait a minute, it's a boundary. It's something I have to set up just so that I feel mentally healthy, or healthy mentally, however you want to say it.
Absolutely. I think that you are perfectly justified in doing that. You got to be able to tell people, look, I'm sorry. It's not you, it's me sometimes. But you're absolutely 100% allowed to set that boundary and tell them, look, I appreciate you. I like you. But sometimes it's too much negativity first thing in the morning. Go take some happy pills and then come back and talk to me, and we'll be fine. But to take the brunt of that all the time, it's got to be wearying and tiresome.
It is. And I mean, we're talking pre-COVID now. With, the aftermath of COVID, some people are still, I really hate to say, some people are still kind of getting back into the norm of things. And some people just are still kind of reeling from the after effects of, being away from people, or not getting to socialize as much, or relying on video or phone calls, or kind of being stuck at home and trying to figure out, well, now how do I set up my walls or my boundaries or my borders can be hard. But I'm going to steer it back around to the pair of us, because I know when we started this little podcast venture, we wanted this to be, this is what we experience, and it's never in any way, and I feel like I say this a lot, it's never in any way to be the be all end all. This is what works for us, and it needs to work for you, and you just need to mimic us. That is never what we want. But
Absolutely not.
Let's talk about walls, boundaries, borders where we're concerned.
Okay.
Oh,
my turn.
He's looking at me, I'm looking at him, and it's like, here goes the wall.
Dead air. I don't really find that I have as many with you as I've had in the past. I feel safe with you, and I feel comfortable and relaxed with you, which is a very weird thing. after so long of not feeling that way, to where I can be myself and I don't have to put up these walls and keep you out because you might hurt me or you might offend me or attack me in some vulnerable way. And I don't feel that I have to do that with you as much.
I know that, and you've told me this a time or two, that you're still working on things where that, you are in a safe area and I'm not, trying to hurt you. But I understand that because of things that you've experienced through life. I have to admit that when you and I first started talking, I wasn't ready to be as vulnerable because all I saw is, this is somebody that I met through an online portal, and my track record of that has not always been very good. And I thought, I just don't want to get hurt again. But
I was very much the same way because I'd been through that in the past with meeting people not under the best circumstances where you can't always know their motives and why they do the things they do and how they're going to come at you. But we talked and we were very open with one another,
mhm,
even starting out as friends as we did, where I'm just like, all right, I feel safe with you. So I'm going to share these things with you that I've never told anybody. Or I may have told people, but it was much further down the road than like day 3 or
right.
4.
Well, day 2 is the first time I think I actually heard you speak.
Yes, because in Second Life, you have the option of typing or you can do voice chat. And because my character and my character's name did not match my real life persona and voice, I very rarely turned on my mic for people because it was disconcerting to have that voice come out of somebody that looked like I did. And with Anna, it was one of those, all right, you know what? I feel safe. I'm going to do it.
Right. And I never assume, even with, people that I may only see like videos that they post or the memes that they post. I never assume that the avatar or the name is exactly the same in real life as it is in the virtual world. So if it's a female persona and a female name, I'm not one to assume that it's anything other than that. If it comes across, this is a female name, I just assume there's a female on the other end. And if it's a male name, I assume it's a male on the other end. And if the person on the other end chooses to let down that boundary and let me know what really is on the other side, great. And if they need to keep it to themselves for however long, that's totally up to them. I never want to be walking around with what was it you said? A 10-pound sledgehammer, but
Legoland.
breaking down people's Lego walls or Lego boundaries, because
that
that
could be an Olympic sport. How many times do you have to hit it? How far?
don't break the ice. It's like that game. Don't break the ice.
Exactly. I like that game.
But yeah, I never want to be the one to do that. But once we started feeling more comfortable with each other, then it's like, I feel like I can let a little bit more of the wall down or let a little bit more of my guard down. And I feel like, where we are now, that I really don't have to have my guard up all the time. I mean, are there things that I might not always be 100% ready to talk about? Yes. Just like I'm sure maybe there are times that you're not 100% ready to talk about things.
There are, and that comes from more so past experiences than anything else, how things played out.
Now, I don't want any of you listening to think that we are purposely keeping things from each other, because I don't feel that we do that at all. There's just some things that it takes a little bit longer than others. You're looking at me weird.
I was thinking.
Oh, okay. I feel like I said something wrong.
No, not at all.
Oh, okay.
I just want to expand on that a little bit. where there are times when I don't, like you said, we don't purposely keep things from one another. Like we don't set out and say, okay, I'm never going to tell her this because I am 100% horrible keeping secrets from you. I planned a surprise birthday party for her in Second Life before I moved out here. And it was the hardest 3 or 4 days of my life keeping the secret from her. Some friends of mine they did all the decorations, they set everything up, they got everything set in motion, and it was just my job to show up with her at that time. And it was, like I said, it was the longest 2 or 3 or how many days of my life it was because I couldn't tell her. Because up until that point, there wasn't anything that I didn't share with my best friend. So you'll know that I'm very horrible at keeping secrets from you, so I probably won't do it. If for no other reason than that one, that I can't do it. But there are times when I hesitate telling you because, again, based on past experiences, I don't know how a normal person would react to that because I've dealt with a lot of not so normal things in my life. So, but eventually I think we talk about everything and we hash everything out, and there's no going to bed angry at one another. And I don't mean this to sound like sickeningly sweet or anything, but we're really both good about communications. And I think that's probably the biggest thing to any relationship, whether it's personal or family or business or whatever. You always have to communicate all the time. It's uncomfortable. It can be awkward. It can be painful, but you got to do it because if you don't, it's going to make it worse and worse and worse.
Exactly. So, I mean, communication is key. But again, if there are things that you need to set boundaries on, or borders or walls or Lego bricks or whatever it might be,
As you will.
It's nothing to be ashamed of, embarrassed of. It's nothing to feel like, oh my gosh, I've got this wall up or that wall up. I mean, it's, going back to the social media thing, it just let me know that there are certain things that I clearly cannot discuss via social media without something coming back. Now, does this mean that I am shrinking from social media? Of course not, because here I am on a podcast. But does it mean that there might be things that I limit who gets to see it? Yes. Do I want to do that? No. But
sometimes you have to.
Yeah, sometimes you have to. And I'm sorry, I keep cutting you off.
No, you're fine. I talked over you.
For me, I feel like there's been a lot of negativity in my past, and I can either choose to live in that realm or live more in the positive realm. So if I need to restrict certain audiences, then that's what I'm going to do if it's going to benefit my mental health and my needing to feel more positive in life. If that makes sense.
Makes sense to me, but
okay, well, it makes sense to me too.
We are often,
how about you, dear listener? Does it make sense to you?
We are often of one mind, so it's not surprising.
Well, yeah, I mean, we do finish each other's sentences quite often. So
sadly, my cup is empty.
How did that happen?
I
didn't see you pick that up.
Gremlins.
I think it's like, okay, for those of you of a certain age, you may remember a show called Mork and Mindy, where Robin Williams, God rest his soul, would sometimes stick his finger in his drinks and then his drink would magically disappear. So I don't know if you stuck your finger in your drink because I didn't see you pick up that cup.
It's a mystery.
It's a total mystery.
It's a mystery for the ages. Oh, I'm going to let her wrap up this week. So thank you all for listening and being here and coming back. And next week, episode 13. Ooh.
A baker's dozen.
Spooky, perhaps.
We're going to do a spooky episode? Oh, it could work. But it definitely won't be an unlucky episode. So, as always, we appreciate you tuning in and listening. Feel free to tell your friends, your family about us, your frenemies, the person behind you in front of you in Starbucks, however that works, or wherever you go to get your coffee. You can always reach out to us. We love the feedback. We love to know what it is you want to hear about. So always feel free to reach out. As always, God bless. Remember, this is just our 2 cents worth, and your own mileage may vary. Talk to you soon. Love you lots. Bye.